This morning I'm putting some Lonestar suspension on this Pro R Sport. I already got the lower arms on. The guy had a ball joint failure. Got to fix that axle. We got some upper Lonestar arms, adjustable inner and outer joints. Got all the radius rods, sway bar links, radius rod bracket, and the whole entire Lonestar bolt kit. So I'm gonna get working on the rear, get it all jacked up and tore apart. So I got the tires popped off. Next I'm going to take the radius rod bolts out, top and bottom, frame side. Everything's 21 on these new cars. Lonestar also gives you hardware to replace this bolt, bottom bolt, toe link bolt, and then toe link bolt, trailing arm bolt on the chassis, and then upper and lower shock bolts. And I also have new sway bar end links from Lonestar that'll be going on. With these lower radius rod bolts, they are through bolted. Found the best way is come up from a wrench from the back side, get your wrench on there, and then to do this top bolt you're going to want to come in from this side over here, and you can just see the bolt through there. So I got everything all laid out here, all the Lonestar bolts, instructions, sway bar, radius rod plate, and the radius rods. The lowers are fixed on both eyes. The uppers are adjustable, and one's left and one's right, so you can adjust them once they're on the car, so no need to adjust them off the car. Uppers have these bushings that go on the tire side on each side of the heim, and the uppers have these bigger bushings that go on the tire side as well. I assume just to keep dust down. Lonestar doesn't really have any instructions for this install yet, but that's what I found to work the best. So I got radius rods, radius rod plate on, left these loose for adjustability, got all the new bolts in, got the new bearing carrier bolts in. Next going to be moving on to upper and lower shock mounts and sway bar. Right now I'm still leaving everything loose until I get it on the ground. Got everything snugged up back here now. Got new lower shock mounts, new upper shock mounts, and new sway bar end links using the factory hardware. I started using this orange Loctite on everything. It's right in between red and blue, works perfect for UTVs. Keeps it just tight enough to take it off with an impact still, but not vibrate off. Working on the front here, just kind of go over what I did on the rear so far. We got new sway bar end links. We got a upper shock bolt, lower shock bolt from Lonestar. This car does have Schmitty Racing suspension, full valving, and dual rate spring kit on it. It has Lonestar upper and lower radius rods. The lowers are fixed. The uppers are adjustable with the Lonestar radius cage plate. The bushings do go on the tire side of the radius rods just to try to keep some dust out of that heim joint. We have all the toe link bolts are replaced from Lonestar. All the radius rod bolts are replaced on both sides. And then as well over here, we got upper and lower shock bolts and new sway bar end links. Got it jacked up, got the front tires off, got the upper A-arm out of it. Just use a flathead and a hammer, punch those rivets out. You got your upper bolt here, whole front fascia comes off. I took that little bulkhead off just so you can get an impact in there a little easier. The rear bolt, you have to take this little cover off in here to gain access to the bolt there. Zip that puppy out and gonna start adjusting the upper A-arms. So I got the upper arm installed. I have the sway bar link installed. Front sway bar uses the factory bolts. Have the new rear heim on with the misalignment spacers, the new bolt. This gets adjusted to 2 inches. So that 2 inches goes from where the end of the actual arm is to the center of the heim joint. This is also 2 inches from the end of where the bung is to the center of this heim joint. And this front is 2 5/16. I taped the jam nuts on each heim so they don't back off after they're tightened. Top and bottom all done. Everything's all torqued, installed. Whole front bulkhead's back on, plastics back on, ready to go ride.